The first one.
More abuse. I mean, Andy and James have sailed together for many years, and James does the main, doesn't he? He's not.
No.
You do the main.
He does the traveller, and I do the main.
All right. So you don't let him interfere too much.
No.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
But that was really something that we learned again at the Nationals in Foy a number of years ago, where we just needed all the weight in the rail. We were lighter than a lot of the people that we were sailing against, so we needed to get all the legs over the side, and so I just had to suffer it. And yeah, I was going to take the mick out of Stuart for saying it's hard work, but actually when it's blowing a gale,
it's quite a big mainsail.
it's quite a big mainsail, yeah. And I
Yeah,
guess we were
it's
talking
worse.
about it in the break, Charlie.
It's worse when it's not quite a gale.
Yes.
When you're having to haul the thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's almost easier when you can just let it all down to the leeward side and maximum traveller out and just ease it and dump it a little bit. But I guess that's why I go for maximum kicker a lot earlier than maybe some other people would. Some of it's just laziness, because I just want to have a bit less weight in the main sheet, because I've got to try and pull it all in myself. But also it's to help control when I do need to spill the main sheet. So that as I'm easing the sheet out in the gusts when they come along, it's not just out the cleat and the top of the leech just opens out and all the power disappears and the boat flattens, which is what you want, but you don't want it to happen too quickly. If you let it happen too quickly, then the boat will start to move all over the place and go upright too quickly, and you'll try and pull the sail back in again, maybe a bit too early, and the boat will heel over again, and before you know it, the boat's just doing that, and you're doing exactly as Neil's saying, you're disturbing the flow around the keel, and you've not got that laminar flow around the keel to help you move forward and get some lift off it. So it's important for me certainly to have really slow, gradual manoeuvres. Dumping the sails are important when you're overpowered, but if you do it too quickly, then you'll actually do yourself more harm than you will good. So knowing just how much to depower and when is what's important. So we've got somebody on the boat that usually calls the gusts, for example. They'll call them in. You hear somebody start going 5, 4, 3. Oh, it's a longer 5, 4, 3. No, it's a longer 5, 4, 3, and then eventually we get the gust when it comes in. But yeah, we've usually got somebody calling that in the boat, so that personally I don't look at much else than the telltales when we're sailing upwind, and use the rest of the people on the boat to work out where the fleet is and where the gusts are and what's the tactics, where we're going to go.
It's a good idea actually, because you can't really do everything on the 707 all that easily.
Yeah.
But you've got to persuade people to feed you information.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard, but it's people have to have the confidence to call it as they see it.
Yeah.
And it's all just information being fed to the helm, and it's all really very useful. Sometimes some people say, "Oh, you could do it yourself." We're having a chat.
Sometimes if the helm gives you quite a nice response when you feed back information, it makes you more likely to feed back more information, because sometimes the helms will say things like, "Oh, I know that already," and you think, "Oh, I'm not going to tell you anything else again." So quite good, I think, if the helms say, aren't good yet, or something encouraging.
Depends what the helm wants, really, I suppose.
Yeah, so I think it's good to know that level of chat, so the helm must tell the crew what they want to hear, so when you offer it back, that's what was asked for. I think that's basic conversation that often people don't really have, so they don't really know what they want from each other.
I think if you're crewing, it's worth bearing in mind that relevant information is welcome. Whereas irrelevant stuff is really not.
Yeah.
Something like, well, that's a pretty tree. It doesn't go down well.
Yeah.
Discussing the Edinburgh trams or something. I love it when you get a bit of it. I mean, if you're on a really long one, people are going to drift off and have a rest, and that can happen. But it is much better, especially at nationals, and the bigger the event. You really want somebody looking upwind all the time. There should be chats about the guys ahead, or Andy's gone right. I wonder why he's done that. Or maybe he wants to approach the windward board on starboard.
One doing wind and one doing
Yeah.
the boats. You need to know where all the boats are.
Yeah.
Where's Andy? Can't be.
So the crew
Rough
looking
game.
further ahead as well.
Hmm?
The crew looking further ahead upwind to say, right, there's
Yeah.
more wind on the right, or there's more wind on the left, or
Upwind's where the next thing that's going to happen, isn't it? So you want to know. You want to see that cloud, or there's a big dark cloud over there, or it's going to brighten up, or that's not so as we can change into the heavy weather gear we brought. No, but you can see this.
Sunny's out.
I made you leave it home, but it's so as you can. That's where the future is the wind's going to change. It's a big cloud. The wind's going to, I don't know, maybe it'll turn, maybe it'll get more, maybe it'll get less, but it's always changes. It changes all the time, and that the stuff in the sky is telling you that it's giving you a clue anyway. You get better at guessing what's going to happen the more you try it out. I can't always tell you whether it's going to go up or go down, but you can see what's happening to the winds, to the boats ahead of you. So a big change, like they've all got the spinnakers up now. That happens here all the time, doesn't it? But we've all started going backwards, or whatever it is. But any feedback all helps. Thirsty.
Do you reef in races? And if so, what are your thresholds? Do you all have different thresholds for reefing, or is it?
So yeah, we were talking about the break actually, and my personal preference is if we need to reef, we shouldn't be out. And that's something that I guess I learned on bigger boats a long time ago. Having said that, I have reefed in races at Port Edgar, where it's been around the cans, but typically if we're doing windward leewards and it's class racing, if it gets to the point where you need to reef, we're probably not going to be racing.
No, I think we've sailed in a few Scottish championships
Right.
where they've been reefing. I don't think you were there. There was a couple of times where it was run fairly successful.
Titch started to do it.
Lots of people were reefing because when you've got waves and you drop the mainsail size a bit, makes the boat more controllable.
Yeah.
But if the water's flat, then you're not so. You wouldn't be tempted to reef because you'd just be wanting to carry the main to the top because you get the benefit downwind.
Yeah.
I don't think Paul Gray from Burnham, when discussing reefing once, said, "I've never reefed in my life," but then sails in the river.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe worth just talking us through. So if it is getting windy and you get a big gust, what you would do with the main in terms of like dropping it down the track or then letting it out, or would you rather pinch than let the sheet off, or just what you do if you hit a big gust?
Yeah, my style is to let the track all the way down first of all. If that's not enough, feather a little bit. If that's not enough, then depending on the size of the gust, I guess that comes in. If it's a big one, then I will start to ease as well.
Right,
but
so
I'd rather
in that
that would be
order.
my order, that I would let the track down, then feather, and then let the sheet off. Purely because I've got to pull it back in, but not because I'm lazy. Honest, it's because if I have to pull it back in, then I've lost the power in the first place. So if I can harness as much of that power as possible just by a wee feather up and then back on the breeze, then that's what I'll do to try and get through that. But if it's going to be a more sustained gust, then you've got no option. You've got to let the main out. Otherwise, you'll end up with the bow on its side and going sideways. It's really slow. Yeah.
How about you, Neil?
I've got my little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, so I've got Dickie does the main sheet for me.
I was wondering where that was going.
Runner's joke. Anyway, but no, I prefer Dickie doing it because, well, first of all, I get a top quality main sheet man doing the main for me, and he can also join in with tactics and looking up at wind, and somebody to talk to. But it can get a bit lonely back there. So for me, it's easier to have a main sheet man, somebody I can chat to, somebody that's on top of the gusts, and for us that's more successful. It would probably be faster if we practiced a bit more, put Dickie's weight up, and I just went to the gym a bit more, but we need to practice that more. It's faster for us to have Dickie come in and do the main sheet. That's just.
And would he do the same kind of thing, like keep it in tight, let it down the track, and then you would feather a bit, and then at that point, if
No,
it's
he's
still too much,
pretty much letting the main out.
So he doesn't use the track?
The track's pretty much set, and he's dumping sheet
He
and then
just
pulling
pulls
it